What's good? What's good, everybody? It's your girl, I am Amore, and I thank you. I thank you for joining me on Let's Talk About It tonight on this pre-Friday. I want to know, how is everyone doing tonight? What y'all doing? Are y'all, chilling with the kiddos and enjoying your spring break, or are you trying to get some rest and trying to put the kids to bed? Let me know. Put it up in the chat. Let me know what's going on with you. I hope everybody is feeling good, looking good, being good, just being who you are meant to be, y'all. Because let me tell y'all, to get here, it was kind of rough. But look, we here, we did. But make sure wonderful, wonderful day. So let me know how y'all feeling, how y'all doing. Drop that thing in the chat. We have a great, intriguing show tonight. And we gotta get down to the nitty-gritty, y'all, because y'all the village, y'all, and I need answers. Tonight is a night of answers, and I need some. All right, I need y'all to help me out and let me know. Not gonna hold y'all too long, but I do wanna first again let me know how y'all feeling. How y'all doing, how you feeling, what you're feeling like, all that good stuff. I hope y'all feeling good, because I'm feeling kind of good. I'm feeling kind of good. Wish I had a shot of tequila or so. I don't even really drink, but it would be nice, maybe take away my knee pain a little bit. But how y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Get in here. Get in here, get in here, get in here. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say get in here and let's talk about it. We got some things that we got to discuss. Yeah, y'all. Tonight is a good night. And in the meantime, in between time, while I let everybody get in here, you already know we're gonna have a little jam session. And I'm hoping that Facebook allows us to be great and don't be tripping on us. We try and create a vibe. We try and create a vibe tonight. All right. Let's go. Have you ever? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let me know y'all in here. Drop something in the comment, drop a heart or a comment. Let me know you up in this thing. Yeah, 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 y'all. Again. I thank you. I welcome you, each and every one of you, to Let's Talk About It with me. I am Amore. I'm just happy to be here, and I hope that you are too. I hope that everybody is having a very, very, very wonderful night. And if you're not, I hope that by the end of the show that you'll have a wonderful night. Because that's we come to build each other up tonight. You know what I mean? So let's get into it, y'all. I'm not gonna hold this. I'm not gonna hold y'all too much longer. A lot of times we be shooting this early in the show and stuff like that because I really want to know how you all are doing. But in the meantime, in between time, right now, I just want to know, really, y'all, like, do you feel like you are the one in your family that has to break the generational curse? Whether it's with your children, yourself, just relationships in general. Do you feel like that you are the one that has to break the generational curse, y'all? Why or why not? I mean, people might have called you weird. They might have said, they don't really deal with you too much. You might had an instance where you feel like you need answers. You need answers. And everybody might not want to give you those answers, you know. Um Spiritually, we gotta feel like spiritually, it's not even we gotta feel like, but spiritually we gotta build ourselves up to break these generational curses, y'all. Because there will be some things that may not agree with you. There will be some people that may not agree with what you're doing, but it has to get done. So I just want to know, like, do you feel like you are the one in your family, that has to break the generational curse? Again, whether it's relationships or parenthood, you know, parent child relationship. Like, do you feel like you've ever had to be like, you know what? I might be the little one out of the bunch or the youngest or whatever, but I have to do this in order for my family to move forward. In order for them to feel like, you know what, we can actually be a family. Because I mean, what does family even look like anymore? So many times it feels like our friends become our family now. Our friends become our family to the point where we call our friends before we call our family members. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. We weren't necessarily, we were born into these families, and it's just like we were born into these families, and sometimes we don't even agree at all. Some of us don't even like our family. So so I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, when you are in that space where your family is separated and you feel like you are the one that has to place it all together. How can you do it without help? If it's just you, let's say for instance, boom, it's just you. You got this, and you got this big ass. You got a big family. You got a huge family, and you see that things are not ideal, right? And you're like, you know what? I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. You have that whole mentality in your head, like you think you can repair these things, right? Before you try to repair these things, Bob the Builder, or do you necessarily have to get yourself together? So I'm gonna let y'all ponder about that real fast. I'm gonna let y'all ponder on that question and let me know. Drop it in the comments. So I'm gonna tell you what the definition of family is, y'all. Well, what Google says. What Google says, because I think we have our own definition of what family may be. But Google says family is defined as a group of one or more parents and their children living together as a unit, all the descendants of a common ancestor. That number two, all the descendants of a common ancestor. So with that one, with that definition, I feel like that's a lot of the times now that's exactly what it is. It doesn't necessarily talk about a relationship. It just says you are my family because we have a common ancestor. That's it. That's all. Ain't nothing in between. Nothing. Like straight cut and dry. So where did the whole idea of family, like, oh, we have to be one unit, we have to fight, we have to do this and that and the third. Where did that come about? Where do you think that came about? Because and where did the definition get lost? Where did that definition get lost? Because I don't feel that way. I feel like the second definition that I said was pretty accurate in some sense. Do y'all agree or disagree? Like I really feel like that's pretty accurate, y'all. For all the descendants of a common ancestor. That's crazy. That's wild, y'all. But do y'all feel that way about family? Like what's your definition of family? How how does that how shoot, I'm trying to figure it out because the descendants of a common ancestor sound good to me. That's not the ideal definition, but listen. I feel like lately that's what it's been. So Kay says, I've truly come to realize family is what you make it. I'm closer to the people who are non-blood related than my real family. I gotta read it again, y'all. She said, I truly come to realize family is what you make it. I'm closer to people who are non-blood related than my real family. Wow. So with that ultimately being like your definition as to family is what you make it. How do you make the best out of it? Because sometimes we do want people that are necessarily blood related, to so that we can, I guess we feel like we can make that foundation with our children and stuff. And you know how we had our cousins and, I had our aunts, everybody was just together. Everybody was together. Where did the division come? Where did the division come? Kate also says, I've been supported and loved by people who came into my life as friends or coworkers than the family I came from. Wow. Man. So that's tough. And I say that's tough because I mean, lately seemingly that has been the reality of some things, right? So much so that I'll even say that sometimes strangers will support you before your family. Do y'all agree or disagree? Strangers will support you quicker than your family, y'all. Quicker than your family. Kate also says, but it doesn't soften the blow. It doesn't replace those feelings of longer for your blood relatives to be close. It hurts at times, but I've come to appreciate who's there and who shows up as opposed to who doesn't. Right, right. So I think that comes with maturity. I think actually, getting out of your feelings as to what you've longed for over the years and learning to appreciate the people that are there and the people that show up. Because I mean, me personally, I found myself, I used to focus on who wasn't there. I used to focus on why can't they just show up for me? And I think when you focus on those particular aspects, you kind of lose the appreciation for the people that are actually there for you. It definitely, it takes patience, it takes maturity, it takes a lot of things to actually get to that point, you know? Especially when it's not necessarily the foundation that you came from, right? KK says definitely took a while to come to that understanding, especially when you show up for those who don't show up for you, especially when you show up for those who don't show up for you. It takes it takes a lot of readjusting. Absolutely. Absolutely. It does take a lot of readjusting. But it's like, is it worth the headache of worrying about who's not there? Do you feel less appreciated, or do you feel less thin when your family doesn't show up for you, but your friends show up for you? Do you feel some type of way? And redirecting your thoughts, because it's easy to be negative and focus on what you don't have. Absolutely. It's truly easy to focus on what you don't have. And so much so you try to be positive and try to speak affirmations into yourself. Why do you think that it's so easy to be negative and to focus on those negative thoughts? And sometimes what may seem negative, because in all reality, y'all, what I had to realize, and I'm still practicing, still trying to, digest. Maybe a person's absence is actually the best for you at that particular time. I mean, it may not seem like it, you know, it may not seem like, but maybe a person's absence is for you to grow. Maybe a person's absence is for you to stop using that damn crutch. I wish I could stop using my crutches. But nevertheless, y'all, maybe. KK says, I'm just grateful for those who show up to stand in the gap. It could be no one. It could be no one. So y'all, I'm here to tell you, like, as much as we want our families to be there, sometimes it may be best. It may be, and I'm not saying this for everybody, but sometimes it may be best for them not to be. I don't know. I don't know. KK says, man, I say that all the time. Sometimes that absence is a blessing and yields protection. Mm. So in this instance, right, when your family doesn't show up for you, but you see that there's issues within your family, how can you go about breaking those generational curses? Because some people are chosen to break the generational curses in their families. No matter how much you try to resist, no matter how much you try to fight, sometimes that is your purpose. Hey, I'm just saying it. I'm just a messenger. Hey, Miss Terry. Miss Terry says, I thank God for your kind heart and the woman that you've chosen to be in spite of and because of who you are. I thank you. I thank you. I even thank you for the meeting that we had and counted years ago, and we're still connected. So I thank God for that as well. And I thank you for being here on Let's Talk About It, because we come to talk about some things, okay? But I really want to know, we're touching based upon generational curses. And I came up with this subject. A lot of times these subjects that I come up with, well, I say we because me and some of my support system, okay, we come up with these particular conversations and things like that because in all reality, I think with our families, even when it comes to generational curses, we I say it all the time. There's no more room under the rug to sweep anything else. And so many times we just try to like step over the rug. But this time you're tripping, right? You're tripping over that rug that you swept so much stuff under. So much hurt, pain, secrets, family secrets, y'all. Everything is we can't do it anymore, right? So I have had a talk with my grandparents, some years ago, and I'm just like, yo, like we got no more rugs in the house. You know how the guy on next Friday you say no more locked doors, no more rugs. So you might as well grab your broom, grab your dustpan, so we can sweep it up and throw it in the trash. Like things have to be accountability. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to be accountable. It takes a lot to actually want to fix the problems. And then it takes a lot to even recognize that sometimes we're carrying people burdens that we have no idea about. Okay. And I think sometimes it causes a wedge in a lot of families and a lot of friendships and a lot of people in general. And a lot of people in general. Because people are holding hatred and malice in their hearts for what? If a person is living rent free in your head, I seriously think that there's a problem. Okay. Look, so Miss Terry says, being a product of a teenage parent, I pray continuously to remove generational curses and that the dust that lingers. Amen to that. So Miss Terry, I do want to kind of like ask you some questions, right? Because I'm a product of a teenage parent as well. And a lot of times people would say, your mom was young or your dad was young, and yeah, but they're not young anymore. So, in regards to these particular, you know, generational curses, as the product of that teenage parent, what do you, how can you even start the conversation when you feel like your parent, your parent is your parent because of the title, but your parent is almost like your equal? You know what I mean? I don't know if there's the age gap or how we were raised or we grew up together. maybe that's what I'm looking at it from. Like, how does that conversation start? And can a conversation even be had if the other parent doesn't take accountability? If the parent doesn't take accountability, because I think for me, I think that's where acknowledging and taking accountability. I do believe that's a way of removing some generational curses. Now, please let me know. Drop that thing in the comments and welcome Marvin as well to Let's Talk About It. I thank you for joining us on this pre-Friday. So please let me know because I want to know. I want to know, y'all. Let me know. Drop that thing in the comments, y'all, because we always say that we are, we're healing and we're rising above, but really you can't rise above if it's that that glass ceiling that's stopping us from actually rising above from what we're trying to accomplish. Because what our family is going through is not just, it doesn't stop with us, y'all. It doesn't stop with us because I feel like a lot of times what happens is we see some things, don't really acknowledge it, and we try to keep our kids away from it. So our children don't know their cousins, they don't know their aunts, they don't know these people. But yet you be like, oh, that's your cousin right there. And your kid looking like, oh, where was that? You know what I'm saying? So how is it that I want to know, y'all, how can we start to break these generational curses? Because there's no more room under the rug. The dust has risen. And when you try to walk across the room over top of the rug, you're tripping. So somebody help me out because I really do want to know. I really want to know how can we do this? If it's like, you might got one person from one set generation on the same boat. You might got another person on the same boat, but then it's like, where do you start? Where do you start in so much dysfunction? You start with yourself? I mean, or where do you start? That's what I want to know. Where do you start when it comes to generational curses? So Miss Terry says, growing up with my parents for me was both a lesson and a blessing because my mother decided that she was going to sacrifice what she say and be better for my brother and I. Okay. Okay. Now I'll listen. Big ups to the parents that make sacrifices. Parents and grandparents, because there's some grandparents out here that's raising their children's children. I'm not gonna say kids. I apologize, but their children's children. So big ups to the grandparents. Big ups to the parents that are making sacrifices for their children, despite the circumstances, and like just like spades, y'all. Y'all just playing the card y'all dealt. So big ups to each and every one of you that are making those sacrifices. It's not easy. It's not easy, especially when you're used to just you, when it has just been you and you were, so being able to set yourself aside and love on your child and sacrifice those things. But two, because I preach this all the time, y'all. As parents, y'all, I don't want us to lose ourselves because we make those sacrifices. It's time to find, if you lost yourself because you're a parent, you want to make sure your child has the best, do the best, can be the best version of themselves, better than you, all that. I get that. But if you're not okay, if you are not okay, there's no way that anybody that you love, your children, there's no way they can be okay. So, I preach this all the time, yo. It's okay to take a break because sometimes these kids need a break from us too. Okay. It's okay to take a break. But just because we sacrifice for our children, don't sacrifice your whole being where you lose yourself. Okay. Where you lose yourself so much, you forget what it means to love yourself, what it means to accept yourself and be the best version of you. Because yes, our children, they hear us, but they see us first. Okay. All right, y'all. So look, so Marvin says breaking generational curses in the Black family requires a multifaceted approach rooted in the self awareness, education, and community support. He said, the first step is recognizing the existence of generational curses within the family. This involves honest conversations about patterns of behavior, trauma, and systemic issues that have been passed down through generations, providing access to resources such as therapy, counseling, and support groups is crucial for individuals to heal from past traumas. Bruh. I'm gonna have to start this one because we're gonna have to come back to that. We're gonna have to come back to that one. We're gonna have to come. Listen, Miss Terry said the start is with yourself and the mindset of knowing we have to take our parents on the page they are on. And don't go all up in your head with the blame game. Man, look, y'all hit the nail on the head today. Welcome. Hey, how are you? Listen, why are people so afraid to heal from their past traumas? Like, is it easier to live in the trauma, or is it like, is it easier to live in the trauma? Like, is it easy? Let me know. And Miss Terry said, and we have to realize that therapy is not taboo. Snapping again on that one. Therapy is not taboo, y'all. Are like, I feel like sometimes we want success, right? We want to heal. But are we afraid of the unknown parts of it? Because it'll force us to remember. Remember the parts of hurt that we try to forget or bury. What y'all think? Because y'all been hitting it, boom, 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 boom. Like, man. Marvin says revisiting past traumas can feel like losing control over one's emotion and narrative. Individuals may fear being overwhelmed by their feelings or losing their ability to cope with daily life responsibilities. I got to read that again because as I'm reading this, it's like you listen, you right. Revisiting past traumas can feel like losing control over one's emotions and narrative. Individuals may fear being overwhelmed by their feelings or losing their ability to cope with daily life responsibilities. So listen to this, right? And I completely agree with you, Marvin, right? If people weren't so afraid to lose control over their emotions, the serenity prayer wouldn't exist. Because a lot of times we don't necessarily accept the things that we can't change. And we don't necessarily accept the things that we don't have control over because we want to have control. Because as I believe, like sometimes some of us, and I'm not saying all of us, but I'm speaking from experience, some of us have had it to where we've never really had control of our lives. Other people have had control of our lives. And so when we get that time where we have control of our life or we feel like we have control, we have a tight grasp. We don't want to let it go. And the moment that we feel like we are, again, pinpointing those emotions, losing control of the emotions and the narrative, the moment where we feel like we are crumbling and we're melting like snow in the sun. Okay. And we get afraid. We get scared because we don't want people to see us lose control because everybody feels like we have it all together. When really it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to not have your stuff together, bro. Because why fake it? Facades don't last forever. Facades don't last forever, y'all. For real. So Miss Terry said it will help you tap into what was suppressed. How many of us, by raise of hands, drop it in the comments, how many of us have suppressed your feelings and emotions, your thoughts, things that have happened, suppressed trauma, conversations? How many of us have suppressed something? Drop a hands up in the comments if you have ever suppressed anything in your life. Just raise your hand. Yeah, man. Listen, I'm gonna raise both hands. I'm gonna raise both hands because I have suppressed some feelings, some things that I really don't want to talk about, some things where I'm like, man, you know what? Not today. Maybe another day. And another day comes, and I'll be like, maybe another day. And another day comes, and it's a cycle, and suppress so much so where things might happen that trigger you, and you don't know where it comes from until you sit down with your thoughts, and you're like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's where that come from? Listen, it's 2024. We can't fake it anymore. That's my thing, right? So the whole idea of let's talk about it, y'all, is for parents to feel safe with their thoughts. And we have to start allowing ourselves to feel safe. Allow yourself. Allow yourself. Marvin also says some individuals deal with coping mechanisms such as avoidance, dissociation, or substance abuse to numb or escape from painful memories and emotions. Confronting past traumas, meaning letting go of those coping strategies, which can be daunting and challenging. This is found in everyone, known or unknown. Man, Marvin, let me start that one too. You hitting on some things, a lot of things, because we do. Have we really ever been taught how to cope? Have we really ever been taught how to properly, I'm gonna say properly cope with things? Me personally, I don't feel like I was. I feel like as I got older, there were people that were placed in my life to show me, you know, and even with them showing me, it's a practice. It's a practice. Like I say all the time, y'all, practice makes progress, and it's a practice, something that you have to want to do because it's not easy. It's not easy cope. It's not easy proper. I keep saying coping, but then I say proper because there's coping mechanisms and there's proper coping mechanisms. Y'all, listen. Marvin also says emotional detachment is learned through our community. I couldn't even finish the comment because you speaking to me right now, right? So much so, emotional detachment as a parent can be dangerous. As anyone can be dangerous, but I'm saying as a parent can be dangerous because have you ever felt like you have emotionally detached yourself from your children as a coping mechanism, such as avoidance or numbness to escape from painful traumas. For me, I'm going to say this, y'all. For me, listen, emotional detachment probably happened, and it happened for me to feel numb to the pain of my daughter only having me. You know, it's not it's not easy. It's not something that that I'm proud of, but it's the truth. Okay? It's the truth. It's the truth of the matter that and it made me realize that this emotional detachment is no fault of her own. But I had to go back. I had to go back and dig deep to where the emotional detachment has started. Okay? Because you can't just be out here trying to heal and you just scratching the surface. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work because there's gonna be something that trigger you. And you're gonna be like, what? Wait a minute, what happened? Because you just scratching the surface out here. You cannot scratch the surface. You gotta dig deep. If healing is something that you truly want to do and something that you want to teach your children, because at the end of the day, y'all, we don't want to come from dysfunction and have these children to be dysfunctional too, because they will not be children forever. Eventually they will be adults. They'll be adults. And if we continue to break our children, they will be broken adults and the cycle will continue. So Marvin says a dysfunctional cycle that is repeated through each generation, and hence why we found ourselves always back at the epic center of each trauma and curse. Of each trauma and curse. Because y'all, the trauma didn't happen in one day, y'all. It didn't happen in one day. Okay. So you're not just gonna get the JG Wentworth fix and think it's gonna be all cool, fine, and dandy. It's not. Some days you're going to feel like you don't want to do it, but you have to. You have to keep fighting to heal. Fighting to heal. Okay? You've gone through hell, so why not keep going? Keep going because something so much better is on the other side. But you'll never know if you don't finish. I'm just saying. Listen, you all reading my mind like a mug, okay? You out here reading my mind for real because what it boils down to is that in our minds, I feel like I feel like we had a picture of what type of parent we would want to be, right? Because for me, it's like I just don't want to be like such and such. Okay. But really you end up being like them because they were the only example that you had. So it's a teachable moment. Is these children are out here teaching us whether you want to whether you want to recognize it or not. Okay, these children are out here teaching us, but are you willing to learn? Because I mean, you can teach an old dog new tricks. I do believe. You know what I mean? So Miss Terry says it's like we're living in a snow globe. It's on a shelf. If shaken up, those contained traumas come swarming in around us and on us. We have to come out from under the glass and breathe. All right, y'all. So listen, I'm sorry that I got listen, but Miss Terry said one word, y'all. That really we about to do right now. Breathe. Okay. So we about to do this exercise. This is a real quick exercise, y'all. Okay. And we gonna breathe. We gonna do some breathing exercises because y'all got me out here sweating. Okay. I'm sweating. You see, I don't know if y'all see it glistening, but that's sweat. That's not oil. It's sweat. Okay, because y'all out here speaking some truth, reading my mind over here. So we're gonna do some breathing exercises real fast. All right. So y'all, I want y'all to, if you can plant your feet. Me, I really can't plant my feet too much, but I gotta stretch mine out. Okay. So I just want y'all to close your eyes for a second and breathe in. Hold it and breathe out. So you're breathing in your nose and out your mouth. Breathe in, hold it, and breathe out. It's not a rush, y'all. It's not a rush. Just breathe in, let that thing go. We're gonna do this 2 more times, y'all. Breathe in, hold it, and let it out. One more time, one more time. Breathe in, hold it, and breathe out. Oof. Yes. Sometimes we just got to take a moment and breathe, y'all. Something so simple, but don't take your breath for granted, okay? Now, Miss Terry says that goes back to lessons and a blessing. Yes, 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 indeed. So Marvin says you talk about triggers and delving into past traumas may trigger and re-experience of the original event. Existing symptoms of trauma, such as flashbacks, nightmares, or panic attacks. This fear of being overwhelmed by intense emotions can deter individuals from facing their traumas. Now, let me tell y'all something. And y'all my family, so I'm gonna tell y'all. Okay. I have suffered traumas to the point where I used to wake up in cold sweats. Okay. Have nightmares waking up in cold sweats and you know, the person that I was dealing with at the time was just like, what the are you okay? They didn't know because they woke me up and I didn't know who the hell it was and I spazzed. Okay. Things like this happen. Things like this happen. And you sometimes when you're dealing with people and things like that, you have to explain these things so that people can understand. But what happens in those moments where you feel like you don't want to explain yourself because you don't want people to know that you have gone through trauma? What happens in those moments? Like I feel like if you're with somebody or whatever, you should be able to you should be able to express yourself. Let them know how you feel. Let it all hang out. But sometimes it's easier said than done. Sometimes you don't want people to know. You don't want people to know that you've been through some things. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do when you're waking up in those cold sweats and you have people that are there with you and they're like, yo, what's going on with you? What's really going on with you? Do you feel like you should be comfortable enough to tell them, or do you still hold on to your trauma? And since we speak on trauma, I'm gonna ask y'all some more things because I want to know what y'all think. So when you're dealing with someone and you're waking up with those nightmares, you're having those flashbacks, you're waking up in cold sweats. People are wondering why you have anxiety. Okay, what do you do when the person that you are a companion with, or even your family, they recognize these patterns and they ask you, do you tell them or do you hold on to your trauma? Drop that thing in the comments. Let me know. Do you tell them or do you hold on to your trauma? Because do you ever feel like some people don't deserve to know what your trauma is? Hmm. Like, is it an honor for people to know your trauma? Let me know. Is it an honor for people to know your trauma? Or are you willing to share with any and everybody? These children, I'm trying to tell you, I'm like, bro, I'm on a podcast, bro. All right, y'all. So Mama says it comes out later in your interactions and relationships. That could be negative impact if these situations are not addressed or confronted. Man, Marvin, look, man. Mm, it can, Marvin is absolutely right. It can lead to a negative impact, and it can lead to a lot of misunderstandings. It can lead to people saying that you are not being 100 with them and you are not letting them in your world. I just experienced that. So that's why I'm telling y'all. This is what it could lead to. Okay. All right. So Miss Terry said, your truth is your truth. And does everyone deserve a seat at your table figuratively? No, everybody don't deserve a seat. Okay. Everybody don't deserve a seat. Everybody, y'all out here just everybody don't deserve a seat, but in the same token, dang, I feel like I'm in the between a rock and a hard place. So what Kayla said, KK says explaining is definitely important. People have no idea why you're freaking out. I was in an abusive relationship and had been single for about 6 to 7 years. I was talking to someone new, and he was trying to play fight with me. I freaked out and punched him and screamed at him to get out. I remember a friend saying, "Kayla, he doesn't even know why you freaked out." For me, I just felt like if he can play fight with me, when he really got mad, he ended up hitting me. That was the first time I've realized I was being vulnerable with with your trauma, right? Oh, that's the first time I realized being vulnerable with your trauma can be overwhelming, and some will use it against you. I'm selective of who I tell my trauma to. Okay. I'm selective of who I tell my trauma to. Okay. 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 I think I was that friend that said he don't even know why. But yeah, we got to be selective. Selective. We got to be selective on a lot of things because people can use it against you, but you don't want to hold yourself as a prisoner either because of your trauma. Like you don't want to hold yourself captive, you know? And Kayla said I was that friend that told her. I mean, I was being honest. Right? So Marma says before sharing your trauma, it's essential for the individual to assess their own emotional readiness and resilience. Are they prepared to handle potential reactions from their partner, including empathy, support, or even discomfort? Oh my gosh. Marvin, let me tell you something, Marvin. You're hitting it on the nose, yo. And I'm gonna put that back up there. So listen, because the question was, y'all, I said, is it okay to like share your trauma with everybody? Miss Terry said, look, would you let everybody sit at your table? My answer is no. You feel me? Taylor said, look, I'm selective. Okay. And now Marvin is saying, before you share your trauma, yo, you gotta assess the situation. Okay. Because not everybody is built to handle your trauma. So in all actuality, yo, not everybody is appointed to your life. Sometimes you just be out here. Let me get this real fast. That's how they be. Some people are not even appointed because if they're appointed to your life, the readiness, the resilience, the preparedness will be there. They'll know how to comfort you in those times. They'll know how to not trigger you. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh Lord, y'all out here, y'all just out here. All right, so Miss Terry says that is piggybacking on my last statement. It doesn't hold you captive. It keeps you aware of those in your space. Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that. Because you do have to be aware because sometimes people will be out here is wolves in sheep clothing. You do have to be aware of who is in your space or who you allow in your space. Man, I don't even allow everybody to ride in my car. I'm on that type of time. Okay? Because we all this to and this is my opinion. All of this is a spiritual journey. Okay? This is all spiritual. And not everybody's spirit is mixed. Sometimes we try to make things mix, but really, ooh, it's oil and water. You feel me? Everything don't mix. Look, spiders out here trying to make their grand entrance. You feel me? Hold up. Spiders out here trying to make that grand entrance. Just bloom up on me. All right, so Kayla says, sometimes it's unexpected though. The situation was so random. It was so early on. And sometimes women who've experienced abusive relationships can appear weak to a man. Sometimes people or future potential relationships will prey on that and treat you differently, right? She also says sometimes people use your trauma like a discount code. Ooh, not a discount code. Damn. Now I'm not worthy of being treated away because I tolerated less than before. It's so complex and it's so much to explain. Sometimes you don't want to get into all that. All right, so I'm gonna say this. Hold up, before I say anything. Marvin says there is no one size fits all answer to whether or not to disclose past trauma in a relationship. It's a deeply personal decision that requires careful consideration of the individual's emotional well being, the dynamics of the relationship, and their own comfort level with sharing such personal information. If and when the individual feels ready and comfortable to share, it's important to do so in a safe and supportive environment where they feel heard, understood, and respected. Yes. Amen to that. KK said, because let's be honest, we've all regretted at some point sharing too much. I know I have. So, I mean, listen, if that particular time, a lot of times I felt like, you know, I shared, it must have been right for that time for me, you know, that's just what it is, you know. But I really want to know too. We talk about trauma and things to that nature, and if we should share it and stuff like that. But I really want to know. I need some answers, y'all. Trauma bonds. Trauma bonds. Let's talk about it. A lot of your relationships relationships and friendships formed from trauma bonds. Let me know. Because, I mean, you know, people can have a lot in common, but people can have some trauma in common too. So I want to know, are a lot of your relationships or even past relationships, friendships or anything like that, has it been formed based upon trauma bonds? Listen, yes, we here. Yes, we here to talk about the trauma bonds. Miss Terry says your spirit will let you know when and who to share with others. It can be what that person needs to heal also. Oh my gosh, Miss Terry. Yes. So let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna say two words: discern spirit. Pray for it. And if you have been trying to ignore it, don't. Because what Miss Terry just said is dead on. Your spirit will let you know. And sometimes we fight the spirit because we want to blabber so bad. We want to blabber so bad. Like, don't fight it. You'll trust me. You'll know. You'll know. Listen. The spirit will definitely let you know. Because sometimes you'll be ready to talk and you'll lose the thought. You'll be ready to talk and you can't say a word. The spirit be like, no, Lord, baby. Mm-mm. For real. For real. So KK says, and I've come to find that sometimes that trauma bond is only for a season. You come to find after the dust has settled that you no longer have anything besides that trauma in common. Mm. So when people are here for a season, a reason, or a lifetime, that thing real. And not everybody can hang with you in your seasons, y'all. I mean, some people seasonal. Some people seasonal. You know, they fall off. Some people spring up. You know what I mean? You know, some people give you the cold shoulder. And some people, you know, warm your heart. That's how I look at it. So that's my 4 seasons. I like that. I gotta rewind this so I can think about what I just said too. And listen, friendships, relationships built on trauma bonds tend to fizzle out. Okay. Yeah, yeah. You know? But we, as a collective, you know, I think we have to hold ourselves accountable in regards to these trauma bonds. Because we listen, again, it goes back to what Miss Terry said earlier about your spirit will let you know when to share. Your spirit will also let you know when to allow people in your circle. Because sometimes, I'm gonna tell y'all, sometimes we'll hold on to people based upon history we had with them when we was in like 6th grade. When really we know they have no room here for this season in your life. But because you know we was cool in middle school, you still want to be like, you know what? Come on, friend. Nah. And I think, let me know about this, y'all, because lately, you know, Lately it has been a thing where I am not able to be available for people. Okay. Which is not often because I always try to make myself available. But lately I have not been available. And people have been like, what's going on with you? Da, 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 da. I'm busy. And really it's not anything personal, right? But can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. Listen. And I don't listen. And as much as I be trying to swindle, trying to slither some time in, God be like, bro, I don't know what type of games you playing, but that ain't happening. That ain't happening. I be like, you know what, Big G? All right. So look, KK said, I learned through my divorce. People love the happy Kayla, but they didn't know how to handle the hurt, isolated, and pain, not cracking jokes, Kayla. Damn. Marvin says, people seek connection and support as a means of survival. Bonding can serve as a coping mechanism, providing individuals with a sense of solidarity and belonging in the face of adversity. Whoa. Mm. So I'm gonna go back to Marvin's. I had to get my thought together just now. KK says knowing when to detach is so important, and it's not beef; it's purpose. Miss Terry says not everyone can go with you to the next level. Your circle gets smaller and smaller as your growth increases. Let's snap to that because it does. It does, and it's like it's a lonely road sometimes. You be like, damn, I ain't got no friend. I ain't got no hug. I just ain't got it. I just ain't got it. And you know what? Just think about how peaceful you are right now. Think about how peaceful you are right now. How much you don't necessarily have to, continue to think about unnecessary people and things, right? And KK says, and it's okay. Can we normalize that being okay? We can normalize it, but it's a practice. It's a practice. Like I said earlier, practice makes progress. And this didn't happen in one day. It's a practice, y'all. So Marvin says he coming out with the gyms, right? He coming out with the gyms. Trauma bonding can also develop out of a sense of dependency on each other for emotional support and validation. Individuals may become emotionally reliant on each other as they navigate the aftermath of trauma, leading to a strong bond based on mutual need. Mm, mm. Yo, I'm like, yo, why is he stepping on my toes, bro? Child, why you stepping on my toes? Yeah, listen, I'm mad you stepping on my toes. I ain't got the roach stompers on today. I got socks. And you hurting my feet. Shoot. We have to learn to sit with self. We have to learn to sit with self. Okay, so Miss Terry, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Since y'all, since Miss Terry talking about you gotta learn how to sit with self. Miss Terry, in November I got hurt at work. Okay, I haven't been at work. Miss Terry, it's been a lonely road. It's been a lonely road. Is I feel like, and one of my friends told me this yesterday. He said to me that God had to sit you down. He had to really sit you down so that you can evaluate some things, self-evaluate. Okay. I was like, bro, you ain't got to step on my toes either. You and Marvin just he stepped on a right foot. Now you stepping on my left foot here. This is terrible. Y'all but I appreciate y'all. Sometimes you do have to sit with yourself, and really have those talks with whomever you may believe. You know what I mean? Because so many times when we don't sit with self, there's so many distractions around us, and distractions are tools of the incompetent. Okay, and build monuments of nothingness. Okay, so we really have to stop allowing things to distract us from our purpose. and really what's important. For real, because listen. Mama says, in some cases, trauma bonding can occur within abusive relationships where one person exerts power and control over the other. We can't forget about that. That's a fact. And I think Kayla also, talked about that as well. Listen, I gotta know this. I just gotta know, right? In regards to the abusive relationships, do y'all feel like we, not just abusive, but any relationships, do you feel like at any time we can just give people our power because we don't feel deserving? Or like what is it? Do you feel like anytime we could just give people our power? And why do you think we just give people our power if that's the case? If you believe we just give people our power, like whatever, by just brushing it off. Is that a sense of like giving somebody your power, just not acknowledging the situation for what it is, just allowing people to do whatever because we just like, all right, whatever, as long as you come home, long as you come home before the sun, I really don't care, whatever. Is that a part of like, do we just be like, because we don't want to deal with the arguments, or we don't want a person calling us insecure? Like, how does that, you know? Mama said, "Yep, okay." I, listen, but I'm gonna tell y'all, anybody that hears this, please take your power back today. Today, you can't. Nobody can take anything from you that you didn't give them. Okay, so tonight before I lay down, I'll pray for restoration. Restoration. Okay, restoration. Restoration. I don't know why that word came in, but it's restoration out here. That before I go to bed tonight, I'll be praying for restoration. Okay, because in the breaking of trauma bonds, trauma, everything. Because I think that we gotta set ourselves apart. We gotta set ourselves apart. It's mm, we gotta set ourselves apart because we are not like everybody else. Okay, you're not like everybody else. It's okay to be different. It's okay. Sometimes, listen. Sometimes I don't like tea. I like coffee. So it's okay. You won't be everybody's cup of tea. That's cool. That's why they make coffee, lattes. Starbucks got all this stuff. Matter of fact, I'm getting me a caramel ribbon crunch. Nevertheless, y'all, Marvin says fear, intimidation, and low self-esteem is the key reasons. Fear, intimidation, and low self-esteem. When you said the word fear, right? It just made me think like, yo, where your fear come from? Where did it stem from? What is the root of the fear? What is the root of the intimidation? What is the root of your low self-esteem? I think we really got to get to the root of the problem. The root of the problem, not just the little leaves, the branches, the actual root of the problem. Miss Terry said, timing is everything. Being closed off help us get closer to God. And most importantly, gives us a time to get to know ourselves on a better and different level. And we have to be intentional about recognizing and reconnecting with ourselves. Man, y'all out here, man. Listen, y'all spitting the gems. Hey, bro. We do have to be intentional about these things. You know, we got to be intentional about these things because if we're not intentional about ourselves, we can't expect other people to be intentional about us. We can't expect it. We might try to be like, you know what, these are my requirements for a man or a woman. These are my requirements. This is what you got to do, but you got to do it first. We be out here just like, you know what? Can you make sure that you have a job and six figures, bro? Do you have that? Do you have those things yourself or what? Marma says abusers may instill fear through threats of physical violence, emotional abuse, and other forms of intimidation. This fear can compel the person to comply with the abuser's demands and relinquish their power in order to avoid further harm. Man, Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all a story, and I really don't tell this story often, and I have a reason as to why I don't tell it. So you'll once I tell you, you'll understand as to why I really don't tell the story. Okay. So when I was in high school, okay, I was in high school, and I had, you know, family members. I had family members, of course. Hold on, yeah, I'm sorry. I had family members, cool, whatever. But I had a family member who actually, like, was abusive to his wife and end up murdering his wife. Okay. And the it's so hard to try to, like, it's hard seeing these things happen in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, happen. A lot of times we be like, oh, that's only on Lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just Lifetime where this stuff happens, y'all. This is real life stuff. People are dealing with abusive people all day long, whether it's physical abuse, or it is verbal, anything like that. Like, we gotta, if you know someone who is dealing with these type of things or anything like that, like, if you can help. Like, it's a scary situation. It's scary for people to live this life and feel like, the person that they love them the most or should love them the most is the person that's abusing them the most. So it's crazy, y'all. Crazy. Because we sometimes ask the people, why haven't you left? Why haven't you left? Why is it so hard for you to leave? And right here, what Mama said about abusers may instill fear through threats and physical violence, emotional abuse, or other forms of intimidation. If this fear can compel the person to comply with the abuser's demands and relinquish their power in order to avoid further harm. Y'all listen, especially when children are involved. Some people may not understand as to why people stay, but this could be this. What Marvin said, his comment right there could be a prime example as to why some people stay in those particular situations. So be careful how you talk to people, how you handle people. You don't know what people are going through, y'all. I know we all go through our stuff. We all go through our things. We all got some stuff that stink. You know what I mean? But have some empathy, some compassion. Have compassion, because you want people to show you the same compassion when you're going through your traumas, or when you're going through your panic attacks, when you're going through your nightmares and waking up in sweats. People don't understand. People don't understand. So we got to have a little compassion for everybody, right? Miss Terry said, if you're not intentional, we can teach others how to treat us. We definitely can teach others how to treat us, but you first have to know how to treat yourself. Um, a lot of times, in different households, we see different things. We see different things. We see as to what we think love should be. We see, and it may not even be healthy. But I think if you are willing to learn, if you're willing to be around people and not think that everybody's trying to criticize you, I think that will also help with trying to learn and to try to teach people how to treat you. You know, Miss Terry also said people don't tell for the fear of being judged. You're absolutely correct. People don't tell for the fear. Um, but I will say, everybody fear or idea of fear is different. Um, people don't want to hear the "I told you" souls. They don't want to hear it. And don't get me wrong. If you're a person friend and you care about somebody, of course you want to tell them the truth. Of course you want them to know, like, look, that was the dumbest decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you do that? But really, I think I've been saying this a lot. Okay. I have been saying this a lot. Know your audience. Okay. And what I mean by that, you have to know the people that you're dealing with and meet them there. Like Miss Terry said it earlier. You got to know the people that you're dealing with. And even how to, within having compassion, you got to know how to word some things, because words are things that you cannot take back, and words do hurt. I don't care about that sticks and stones may break your bones stuff. Words hurt. Okay. Words hurt. They can hurt. And you don't want to be that person that was once the person that person came to, and now you're not. And they have nobody because they don't feel like they can trust you anymore. So we definitely have to have compassion. We listen, this thing we call life is not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. But I think as a collective, we can make it. We can make it. We can make it. We can build each other up. And just do what we gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's but y'all been listen, y'all. I feel like I lift weights because y'all been listen. I appreciate y'all for coming through and sharing your insight with me because I really listen. It's time for us to really not be afraid of breaking generational curses, stopping trauma bonding, okay, and taking your power back. Yeah, come about that. Come about that. Come about that trauma. Come about that trauma. Take your power back. Excuse me, y'all, and live the life that God intends you to live. Like everything is not gonna be um sunshine. Sometimes you're gonna have some rain, heartache and pain. You know how the song go. You know how the song goes. Sometimes we will have those hard days, but it's up to you. It's up to you to want to fight, to want to get through those hard days, those hardships, those traumas, those the things that can hurt us a lot. Yep, yep, y'all. What's crazy? Does it feel like we've been on here for an hour? We've been on here for an hour and 12 minutes. I want to know, does it really feel like we've been on here for an hour? Because we've been having some good conversation. And I appreciate each and every one of you for rocking with me. Look, Miss Terry said, creating new generational blessings. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Creating new generational blessings. And I was told that we've been here to bless someone else. So I hope that today we have blessed you, we have blessed each viewer, we have blessed each other with some knowledge and understanding that we don't have to stay where we are. You're not in quicksand, y'all. It's a way to get up out of this. It's a way to get out. It's a choice. It starts with a choice, acknowledging accountability. Like we know these things. We have the tools. Now, will you use them? You have the tools. Now, will you use them? That's the question of the night that we're going to close out with. You have the tools. Now, will you use them? Okay. Because as I said, y'all, there's no more room under the rug. You better grab your dustpan and your broom because you got to sweep this stuff up, throw it in the trash. All right, y'all. I thank each and every one of you for joining me. I am Amore on Let's Talk About It. I hope to see each and every one of you next Thursday at 9:15. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. And remember, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you today, it's all good because I love you. I love you. Miss Terry said, choose a new rug or just get some wooden floors, man. Miss Terry said, choose a new rug. So look, y'all, I definitely appreciate each and every one of you for joining me tonight on Let's Talk About It. Throughout this week, until next week, we're going to make sure that we send out some positive affirmations to each and everybody, each and every one, and make sure that y'all okay, because that's my biggest thing. Our mental is mental. You hear me? So we just got to keep pushing, keep doing our thing, continue to be who God intended you to be. Okay, because you have a purpose. It's okay to walk in your difference, and remember, you are the missing piece to your puzzle. Practice makes progress. Just keep practicing every day. Peace and love.